pasta, making meatballs, making fish. They make fish there. One of the things I noticed that got a lot of hits for us, which is a lot. Which is not a lot, but is the thing when we talked about the things we missed in the '80s, and I was talking about kind of the things in the stands. I missed, people shirtless, and there was theme songs. Well, we're gonna do part 2, and this is gonna be the top 4. We always do 4. 4 things we miss the players did in the '80s. So I have my 4. I'll count them down. Maybe you have some yourself. You at home choose yours, as Hawk and Wimpy would say. Number 4, Chaw. I miss.
Hold on, before we hop in.
Brett Cecil.
Yeah. So he was an all-star, and it was the exact situation that I called. So in 2013, they're still playing the game for that, and they brought in a bunch of random relievers and specialists, on that team. And he did it up pitching in the game, but it was Grant Balfour, Greg Howland, Brett Cecil, and Steve Delabar pitched before they brought in Mariano Rivera that year.
Good for them. Who was it? Was it Thornton, the one White Sox representative that one year, and he was like a middle reliever. It's like when the All-Star game went, we need middle relievers now to be represented.
Right. That's what
that year.
I was saying. So that was kind of the year that kind of stuff happened, and it was interesting to say the least. But Alan Craig was an All-Star that year too. How about that?
It's crazy. Where are they now? Maybe we'll try to get him on here. All right, things of the '80s. So we were talking about that. Did you hear me? You hear me do the wind up, right? So I don't have to go through this again for the people.
Chaw.
Do you miss the Chaw? Do you miss the big thing? I know it kind of killed off. Tony Gwynn, it hurt him pretty bad to have that. But I kind of miss the big piece of Chaw and the spitting. And there would be no spitting this year. I remember the Naked Gun basically did the whole scene of them spitting. You don't see it anymore. Chaw.
Right.
It's gross.
I think the guy that maybe personified that the most was Nails, right? So I think we pulled his card the other day. But you get Dykstra Comer up there, and he's just a lean, mean dude. His muscles are bulging, out of his flesh. And then you got the Chaw that's bulging out of his cheek and just coming up and do that. And his teammate, John Kruk, also had battles with mouth cancer because of the Chaw as well.
So number 3, I had eye black. I guess I forgot. They started making it like eye paint. But eye black, you had to really...
now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a Bryce Harper thing.
But do they even... I'm trying to think. Do they even put it on? That doesn't really happen anymore. I mean, Harper was doing it crazily in the mid-2010s.
So what they developed now is the...
stripes. Yeah.
Yeah, the stripes.
I miss having to put it on. I miss real eye black.
The real eye black.
Which
I'm sure was filled with toxic chemical stuff that would no longer fly in today's society.
It could be also considered if we flip down glasses that the guys would keep up.
Ooh.
When the sun was in their eyes. They would forget to flip them.
Kenny Lofton comes to mind when I think.
I'm trying to think who I think of forgetting to flip them down, but they, it'd be under this. And you'd hear Harry Carey. He's got sunglasses on his head. What good does it do to have them on your hat? That's my Harry Carey. Number 2, I miss mustaches, and I mean real 80s.
The good ones.
Let me see if I can find one. I have all these 80s baseball cards, and of course, and we're going to do some baseball card shuffling here. But these are big, ugly mustaches that I can't imagine. Like, I think now it's kind of a joke. Hey, I'm going to grow a mustache. It's fun. Back then, I think these guys thought it was like a good fashion. Well, Tom Selleck had it, and Burt Reynolds. I guess they helped make the mustache a good thing. You don't really see, like, mustachioed, but like you did back in the 80s. You guys,
I think the Cardinals got Clay Zapata. I don't know if you remember him at the end of his career. I don't know if he. Yeah, he had
curly
a
Q,
couple different mustaches look, and then the guy that blew the whistle on the whole Astros thing was it Mike Fiers. He did the whole goofy.
But those were goofy. I'm saying in the 80s, these were guys who
the solid police stash that was standard across the league, the Don Mattingly stash.
Don Mattingly, because I was gonna call it the molester stash instead, but that's kind of weird, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, they came. I remember, I think it was 2010. The Cardinals all grew mustaches during they were slumping. So Joel Pinheiro and Brendan Ryan, and they all had mustaches, and it actually worked. But they didn't get to the playoffs. But they all grew mustaches. I miss those. I miss the '80s mustaches. I know they come back, but I'm talking just rock a mustache as if you don't even know it's there.
Picture, I'll send to you, and you can post this at the thing. But during that run where they were growing the mustaches, I shamingly as well grew the mustache. And it is not good, Brad.
Yeah, I got to be honest, Mike. You seem to never really care what you got going on. I mean,
I'm shameless.
Shameless. I've seen you one time run
on my own skin.
I've seen you. Can I say one time? I think I've seen you run around with your shirt off in places you shouldn't.
Hey, that's
why we love you.
Living my life, YOLO, baby, YOLO.
That's why we love you. All right, so that's we're talking about the top 4 things we missed from the '80s that the players dealing with players. And number 1. I miss the uniforms. I miss stirrups, stripes down the pants, belts that were the stripes, not real belts. They were tight. I don't care that they were tight, but the colors. Also, I always mention this Andy Bennis card here, wearing that brown Padre. Mm-hmm. By the way, after we pulled this card, I had to get Andy on the show, so we talked to him about this card. I don't know if you heard that. Nice. He remembered this picture being taken of him, though. So
did you ask him about giving me Oakleys?
No, it didn't come up.
God.
Didn't come up. Do you have a favorite uniform from the '80s? I love the Expos. I love the Padres brown.
So yeah, the stirrups were always the best for me because that's like the true baseball, right? Now you got, I'm going to sound like the get off my lawn guy, but you guys got tucking the long baggy ones under the spikes. It's like, come on, those stirrups always look so sharp. The uniforms were tight. You think about the Dodgers white, the Dodgers gray. That was it. There were no Saturday jerseys. There were no Sunday jerseys. You just got out there and you played some hard baseball. in your jerseys, it was either white, gray, or pinstripe. Okay?
I like it. The Cubs were the only one who got away with it. They wore a road blue, remember, with the white pants.
Well, they do their own thing anyway.
Yes. But you're right. Well, I do like the Red Sox. What they haven't done they don't do an alternate jersey, I don't think, right? Am I thinking that? I know the Yankees do.
Who's that? The Red Sox do. They have the blue.
But the Yankees do not.
Yeah, I hope not. I hope not.
Well, the uniforms were better in when they try to do these throwback, the clock, they fit like this blue thing the Cardinals tried. I thought, great idea. V-neck, put the belt around. And then you're trying to sell new jerseys that say St. Louis on the front. It grew on me a little bit, but I wanted the Willie McGee 1982.
And they were losing in them consistently as it started. And if it wasn't for the Chicago series where they swept them in Wrigley and that comeback game that is now shown on MLB Network, during this pandemic, it was a disaster. And, I like it because it's a throwback. But they made Harrison Bader the poster boy for this New Jersey, and they worked about as well as Harrison Bader has worked here so far. So it was just kind of like the Cardinals in a nutshell. But they made the playoffs.
They did. My least favorite team to go to the NLCS.
Right. How could it not be? It makes you think, are we living in that simulation? And maybe that was just part of it.
Well, I did watch the Nats World Series film, and it's just, to see the Cardinals playing. They were in the series that gets you to the World Series, and they never felt like they were in that series, ever. Like from the first pitch, even from like the first pitch, before the first pitch. It was Anibal Sanchez. It wasn't even Max Scherzer. I always forget. I flip-flopped him. I thought Scherzer was first and Sanchez was second.
No.
Anibal Sanchez went out and did what he did.
Right. And Scherzer's game, too, and I was at that game, and it was the last game that my dad ever saw, and the first game that my son saw. So it was a special game, but they lost against Scherzer, which was a tough one. But, yeah, the night before, it was such a cold night, and it was lifeless, and it's almost like once that Arozarena video leaked, that bravado that they had been carrying and in the Brave series and what they did in the deciding game in inning one, it's like all the arc that they had moving up in momentum in the direction kind of deflated from that video, and they've had to eat crow, from that point.
The Braves,
he's no longer with the team. I don't know if that's.
I'm sure it's part of it.
Yeah.
The Braves series was exactly who that team was. They could score 11 runs in one inning, and you'd be like, okay. But you would know that the next 3 games they're going to be hit get 3 hits. So yeah, it sucked because that was that game. It's like the Albert Pujols game against Brad Lidge. You should remember them winning that series and going on to the World Series and maybe winning. But the Braves thing, that's what a fun day. We hadn't seen so much fun in Cardinal baseball in 4 years, and then they just went out and blew it and
the game before was a fun thing too. You think about the Yachty hit just barely going over Freeman's. There were so many things that had to work exactly in their favor. Like you said, it had that 06 kind of feel. Like, nah, come on, like we're gonna wake up tomorrow and this is happening. And then eventually they just ran into the buzzsaw. And once they lost game 1, it was series over. But yeah,
we got a 60-game sprint coming up, Mike. Are you excited?
I am, my friend.
How about
let's open some cards?
1988 score. How excited are you